Hey guys, Coldhearts here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we're gonna be doing some testing today in terms of damage. Not gonna be just about Coldhearts, but the testing will be on Coldhearts. So there's this damage calculator out there, not made by me, but it's altered a little bit by me. This specific one, it's by Ash Voyager. He is, I think, the first one who ever released multipliers for the heroes through a data mine. I might be mistaken on that. That's not the point of the video. The point of this video, guys, is calculating the damage of any champion, really, because the calculator works for any champion. But honestly, you usually do the calculation. You would want to do the calculation on heroes that do enemy max HP, since you want to min-max their damage with their speed and their other stats. What I mean about min-max, since we can only do 10% of boss's health after stage 21 all the way to 25, you want to be focusing on your other stats. So if you have a look at my other Coldhearts, which I've built before I knew about this calculator, so my other Coldhearts at the moment, I've got 3 of them, and they are of course they have a high crit damage here, but I wasn't trying to go all out on critical damage. I was trying to get more speed because I knew I would hit the cap of damage with that critical damage that I have, even without a defense down, just because of, you know, random testing. Okay, I removed some critical damage, added more speed, just because I knew I could hit that maximum on stage 25, and then I added 233 speed onto her just because it's way better. She's getting more turns in there, more chances to get more heart seekers in, and that's how I built my my Coldheart in the past. But now I will probably be rebuilding them just to be as efficient as possible for getting that Spider 25 down, because Coldheart is a member of my Spider 25 fast farming team. Let me find the test Coldheart, which will be the showcase at the start of the video, and then we'll go into more depth on how to calculate, even for stage 20, on why you need the calculator and why you should use it if you are you know, easy with numbers and you have a way around, you know, a Google sheet. So let me just show you the Coldheart first. Just simple things. Very low amount of attack. I didn't care too much about the stats. These are just the testing stats. 100% crit on her. She only needs 70%, and barely any masteries right here. All right, and that's Coldheart. She does her most amount of damage through the enemy max HP, and that's Coldheart. All right, let me show you the calculator. So this is a copy of Ash Voyager's RSL damage multiplier sheet. It included this calculator in there, which is a damage calculator, right? I've inputted the name of the champion here, which is Coldheart. There's all the champions there that you can select, and basically the sheet goes in and tries to find the champion out of all of this list. It's a formula on the Google Sheets here, and it finds the hero, it finds the multipliers, then accordingly calculates the damage, right? The way that I've altered it myself is that I've added the different stages that we have here. I've made it a different page here where I have my Spider, Dragon, Fire Knight, and Ice Golem stages with the HP and defense values. I don't know if there's a calculator out there that does this already. There might be. It's just too much things going around in Raid that sometimes you miss it. But I would like to know if it's something simpler than this out there. I know that there's the damage efficiency calculator on the Hell Hades page, but this is totally different. This is not in terms of damage efficiency, right? So getting more attack or more critical damage on your champions. Here we're testing to see on the damage range that we can get, and then calculating backwards. Basically, okay, I'm reaching the cap on the average damage, let's say, of my Coldheart, so I want to go more speed instead of more critical damage, or I want to add a defense down. So this is very simple. I've added the HP of Coldheart, the attack, the defense, the crit damage here. Very simple here up at the top. You see it right there. So my Coldheart won't have an attack up buff. She won't have an increased defense buff, and no critical damage buff, obviously. So that's 0, 0, 0. Masteries that increase damage percent. Obviously, I don't have any of those masteries on my Coldheart, so I don't have single out. I don't have Heart of Glory at the moment, but that would give me another 5% damage. I can actually put that now just for testing purposes, I guess. But let me show you what I've done so far, and then you can go all the way down here. And for Helm Smasher, since this is the RNG version of a mastery, you take it, but okay, you risk not having this proc. If this doesn't proc, then your damage range will obviously be reduced by 25% because of the defense ignore that you lose because of the bad RNG, right? So sometimes we recommend going for flawless execution. It all depends on how you've built your hero by that point, because this is more consistent, and this is also better if you're just missing a ton of critical damage, which will be better than just having ignore defense, right? So that's the Coldheart. Let's go back to the calculator here. Input the enemy's defense value. That's 4,185 on stage 25 of the spider. So I have made this small part of the calculator here for spider. You just select spider, you go to the stage. Yeah, I do 25 and it finds the value immediately. So if you want to do 20, it's gonna change the values here, and then you'll have to come here to change these values, or I could have just changed it myself, I guess. Input enemies max HP, let's put that there, and then put the defense value there. All right, yeah, I've just changed it. So I will be doing the testing on 25 since that's where I really want to find the true values of. So based on these values that I've put in there, if you have a booked Coldheart, then the damage ranges are here. All right, we don't care about the A1, we don't care about the A2, we care about the A3, the green values that you see right there. So we're not on booked, so we're looking at the booked A3 minimum damage. So 338,842 is the minimum damage that we should be doing. All right, because there's variance whenever a hero attacks, guys. If you guys didn't know already, they can hit at 100% of their damage. So like 100% of the damage, they can hit at 110% of the damage, or at 90% of the damage. There's variance. That's why you'll see times where you go into a fight and you expect to hit a number, and then you either hit a little bit more or a little bit less. It's another part of RNG that they've added to the game, which is, it's bad in my opinion. It definitely doesn't help when you're calculating these kind of stuff. Bad RNG messes up runs, and I don't like this part, but I guess they added it for some reason. So you'll see here that 346,361, that's on the lower side. So the minimum damage we could have done is 338k. We did 346, and we were very close to the minimum. Let's do another run here immediately and see if we can reach close to the maximum, which is like 400k. So that one was 338k, and I think that was the minimum, right? 338k 842. Was that the minimum? I think we just hit the minimum there in terms of damage. I was testing it out before and couldn't hit it, and there it is, 410,000, which is closer to the maximum now. Right, so you see that the Coldheart calculations are accurate, and we can get a better understanding of what damage potential is out there from our own Coldheart. So for this part of the video, we're going to calculate it on my proper Coldheart. This is my proper Coldheart, one of them at least, and she's at 70% crit, 257 crit damage, 2246 attack. That doesn't really matter, but it does help a little bit in the damage calculation. And then for masteries, we have these masteries on Coldheart, which increase our damage. So we have Heart of Glory, gives us % damage more. We have the Ruthless Ambush, which helps on the first hit on each enemy, and it's gonna be our Heart Seeker going in there in my spider team. Then we have Wrath of the Slain, Bring It Down, which gives me 6% damage, because obviously the big spider is gonna have more health than you. And then we also have Flawless Execution for added critical damage instead of going the RNG route. So if we get lucky, we get the damage we want. If we don't, we lose out. Helm Smasher is there for that, but we get Flawless Execution to remove that RNG part of the calculation. The support route is just there for extra bit of accuracy for getting the Terminator down, but it doesn't matter for this calculation. So these are overall the stats. 257 with 233 speed. That's a lot for a Coldheart, by the way. It's not an easy build to do. And when you insert these values, so 2000 attack there on the top, 257 crit damage. We don't have buffs here, so we add 0. And then for masteries that increase damage, you put in there just 19. You don't put 19%, because the way that this is calculated is it does it just takes the number, divides it by 100. So don't put 19%. It's going to divide that by 100. It's going to mess up your calculations. So here we want to have the value of the big spider for defense and the value of the big spider for health. That's it. And then we see that our minimum value on the A3 should be 781,297, and our maximum value should be 954,919. But because on stages 21 to 25 we have that cap, we will only get 7735. No, we only get 774,000 if you round it up. 774,000 as a value. We can't get more than that. So we should always be seeing now Coldheart doing her crits and getting that number. It shouldn't go lower than that ever. And that's what you really want to do if you want to be optimizing your build. All right, 7743,531, which is 10% of the boss's health. Let's go again. We'll do this a couple of times just to test this, but it's obviously something that you need to test over like 1,000 runs if you really want to see it, because of the variance in terms of damage. It's not that you can get 3 values. You can get, you know, 95% of your damage, 96. That's how it is with the damage ranges that you can get within raid. And so far we're getting to that cap regardless of what happens. So look at this, boom, 774, and that's the damage that you can get. And it definitely helps when you have this calculator, because then you can reduce your gear a little bit and see, okay, how much damage do I really need to get that 774,000 at least on the big spider. And the way you do that is you go backwards. All right, you can either go and try to find the numbers, but as you can see, I'm so close with these numbers. So 781,297 that it's just no point in me changing it. This is by this would mean that if you add a defense down, then you can definitely change your numbers. But because I always have my Coldheart to go first before anybody else, she will never have a decreased defense on enemies at the start of the fight before she goes. So if you want to calculate this for Coldhearts that go after a defense down champion or a weaken champion, then you can add here the weaken. Let's say you got Lydia, then you add in there the 60 defense down that is applied by Lydia also, and then you see the damage difference there, 1.442 million damage as the minimum, which is double of what the boss max health has. So you can actually drop the critical rate down. So let's say you have the same kind of masteries, the same kind of attack, but you want to drop your crit damage down to 200 and you want to move the gear to somebody else. Let's see that 1.2 million there. We can drop it even more to 150. Let's see, we're still there, guys. 150. Let's check 140, 969k, 639. So we're getting close there to what we can get. And let's see, 130 here, 100%. That's still 100%. It's still enough for us to get the damage. So let's test it out. We're gonna test it out now with the 3-star Coldheart and test our theory. So we're gonna put in there Lydia. Right, so now let's test our theory out. So we're gonna have the defense down. Can a Coldheart with about 100% crit damage reach that cap of damage needed? Will that be enough to farm Spider 25 in terms of getting that enemy max HP and then building the rest of your team with better gear, unequipping your Coldhearts with their best damage gear and giving it to somebody else? Is this gonna work? Well, it should work because everything works out fine so far in terms of calculations. So let's give our overall stats: 790 attack with 125 crit damage. So 790 with 125 crit damage. So with the defense down and weaken on the boss, we should be getting the max damage regardless of what else happens. So let's go in there. Should I do like a custom AI here? No, let's just go in there on manual. And now Coldheart should be like the best that she can, but even at a level 1, because of the defense down weaken, you get that big boost to your damage potential. So we should see here the 773k. 773k, there it is. That's what we wanted to see. Let's do another run. And you see the importance now of that defense down. and weaken. But if you don't have a Lydia, you can just get a defense down, and that's going to help you get to that max damage again. So let's see how much damage would we need without a weaken. So let's put 0 there. So we would need a little bit more damage. So we do 725k as minimum, but the maximum can go all the way to the cap. The average goes all the way to the cap. So really, with flawless execution, I would get another 20%. So if I would go to 145%, then that's how much you need with just the defense down, which is crazy good, honestly. It just means you need to be rotating enough with your skills so that you get all those attacks in, plus HP burns, which is usually the strategy for Spider 25. Closing off this video, guys, this is, I think, the best way to move forward if you have any of the enemy max HP heroes. Since this limitation is only for heroes that do damage based on enemy max HP, you see it here on the top, damage from skills based on that, which isn't that many heroes. I think we got like 10 or something, including Armiger. You can definitely min-max their damage, get more speed onto them, get accuracy, get more defensive stats, which makes them survive a bit longer, especially for the Spider, and that's gonna help you actually make you know, a better team for your stage 21 to 25. For stage 20, since the cap is not there, honestly, you can just build crazy amounts of damage on your Coldhearts and your Royal Guards and your Armigers. But guys, the limitation is that you'll be missing out on other stats such as survivability. So in case the Spider gets a turn, they'll die more easily. Speed, which they need to rotate through if you don't have a proper build, which actually helps them to take out the boss regardless of their survivability. So it all depends on your own account as well, the gear that you have available. It's both a tool used by early players, I would say, and end game players. I'm gonna leave a copy of this down into the description. No, I'll put it in the comments of the video. And the way that you do this is I'm gonna put a link for my sheet, but you need to make a copy in order to use it for yourself. It even says it up here. This is all Ash Voyager's work. Honestly, the only thing that I've added, guys, is the stage values, which is nothing. So props to this guy for doing all these calculations and all this work. We're thankful that we have people in the community that do this, which are more which are better at math than me. So as long as we got people like that working also with us to get more understanding of this game, the better it becomes for us. It makes it easier, simpler, and we can progress through any kind of obstacles that we find much easier. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.